Welcome to the Starship Bridge, you commander of the cosmos. Prepare to plummet through the atmosphere with your hearts racing, and every decision you make could tip the balance of an interstellar war. This is the adrenaline-pumping, strategy-laden universe of Helldivers, a game that's less about pulling triggers and more about pulling strings in the galactic warfare. Sure, you've got the firepower, but in this cosmic chess game, it's your brains that'll save the day, or doom entire planets. Now you might think, Helldivers is just another twin-stick shooter, but oh boy, you couldn't be more wrong. This game is a masterclass in chaos, strategy, and the art of dying in the most spectacular ways possible. It's like someone took the concept of friendly fire and said, yes, but what if it was even more traumatic? So strap in and let's explore the depths of this gem of a game. We're going to dissect everything from its origins to its gameplay. And let me tell you, there's more to this game than meets the eye. Who knows, by the end of this, you might just be itching to join the ranks of the Helldivers yourself. Alright, let's rewind and zoom in a bit closer on the origins of Helldivers, a game that emerged not from the colossal studios with their blockbuster budgets, but from the creative minds at Arrowhead Game Studios. This is the story of a studio that dared to think differently, to create a game that blends cooperative play with a delightful twist of chaos. Now, the seed that grew into Helldivers was planted in the fertile soil of classic sci-fi and military themes. Imagine the developers sitting around brainstorming, surrounded by posters of Starship Troopers and Alien. They were inspired by these iconic tales, but wanted to add their own unique flavor. They aimed for a game that wasn't just about shooting aliens, but doing it together, as a team, and with a twist. The ever-present risk of friendly fire. It's like deciding to play tag, but everyone is blindfolded and carrying a pie. Messy, but undeniably fun. Balancing a game like Helldivers is akin to a high-wire act. Too easy, and it's boring. Too hard, and it's a rage quit waiting to happen. The team needed to find that sweet spot where the game was challenging enough to keep players on their toes, but not so brutal that it felt unfair. This balance is crucial in a game where teamwork isn't just encouraged, it's essential for survival. The developers achieved this through countless iterations, testing, and probably a fair bit of hair pulling. But Helldivers isn't just your run-of-the-mill multiplayer. Here, every player's action influences a persistent online war effort. Think of it like a global game of Risk, where your victory or defeat in your living room impacts the overall tide of war across the world. This concept was revolutionary. It meant that your late-night gaming sessions wasn't just a personal victory. It was a contribution to a global effort. This design choice turned Helldivers into a global, cooperative battlefield, where the line between individual and collective efforts blurred beautifully. The real triumph of Arrowhead Game Studios was creating a game that's a social experiment in disguise. In the world of Helldivers, cooperation is key. And yet, the game is designed to test the limits of this cooperation in the most entertaining ways. It's one thing to work together when things are going smoothly, but what happens when your team accidentally calls down a supply drop on your head? That's where the true genius of Helldivers lies. It's a game that doesn't just challenge your reflexes, it challenges your ability to forgive, to laugh it off, and to dive back in the chaos together. Set in the distant future, the game presents a galaxy where the Earth has evolved into the Super Earth, a planet governed by a unified government that preaches a doctrine of interstellar democracy and freedom, but at the barrel of a gun. In Helldivers, players are elite soldiers of the Super Earth, part of a formidable military force tasked with protecting the planet's utopian ideals by, ironically, engaging in aggressive expansion and warfare against various alien species. The story is a satirical take on the imperialism and militarism cleverly disguised as a top-down shooter. It's not just about the conflict, it's about the reason and the absurdities behind it. The narrative unfolds across various planets and against multiple alien races, each with their own distinct characters and backstories. You have the cyborgs, a race of human-machine hybrids who rebelled against the Super Earth, embodying the consequences of unchecked technological advancement. And then there are the bugs, an insectoid species whose hive-like structure and relentless nature make them a formidable enemy, a nod perhaps to the classic sci-fi tropes of alien invasions. Lastly, the Illuminati, an enigmatic race with advanced psychic abilities, represents the unknown of the universe, the challenges of facing an enemy that's not just physically, but also intellectually daunting. Throughout the game, the player's actions contribute to a larger galactic campaign, a community-driven effort where victories and defeats in individual missions impact the overall war effort. This dynamic creates a sense of belonging to a larger cause, making each mission feel significant beyond its immediate objectives. The story of Helldivers is not just told through mission briefings and in-game events, but also through its environment and gameplay mechanics. The game's satirical undertone is ever present, from the propaganda-style mission briefings to the over-the-top nature of the military operations. It's a world where democracy is delivered through orbital bombardments and where soldiers are celebrated as heroes in the never-ending war for freedom. In Helldivers, it's not just about what you shoot, it's about how you shoot, when you shoot, and making sure you don't shoot your buddies. This is where the game transforms from a simple shooter into a ballet of strategic chaos. The core gameplay mechanic is deceptively simple. Complete objectives on various planets while fending off enemy forces. But here's the twist. The game implements a unique friendly fire system that's always on. That's right, you can bring harm to your teammates as easily as you can bring harm to the enemy. This feature turns each mission into a high-stake dance of positioning and precision. It's like playing a game of hot potato, but the potato is a grenade and it's on fire. The strategic depth of Helldivers is further amplified by the stratagem system, a set of deployable support tools ranging from ammunition drops to heavy artillery strikes. Each stratagem requires specific input commands and a brief wait time before its activation, adding a layer of tactical planning to the chaos. But you're not just a soldier with a gun, you're a tactician, coordinating airstrikes, resupply drops, and even mech suits. But be warned, call down a supply drop on your own head and it's game over, literally. Another standout aspect of the gameplay is the difficulty scaling. Helldivers doesn't just ramp up the numbers of enemies as you progress. It introduces new enemy types and objectives, constantly keeping players on their toes. Each alien race represents unique challenges requiring players to adapt their tactics. The bugs swarm you, the cyborgs bring in heavy firepower, and the Illuminati, well, let's just say they play mind games. It's like going to different theme parks, but instead of the rides, you get different flavors of extraterrestrial whoopins'. The game also includes a dynamic mission structure. Objectives vary from planet to planet, from disarming enemy mines to retrieving black boxes, ensuring that no two missions feel exactly the same. This variety keeps the gameplay fresh and challenging, offering a smorgasbord of tactical situations. It's not just about shooting your way through, it's about adapting your strategy to the mission at hand. While Helldivers might not have shattered sales records like some AAA titles, its influence and reception paint a picture of a game that carved its own niche in the gaming world with a loyal following. Released in 2015, Helldivers made a respectable splash in the gaming pool. According to reports, it was one of the top downloaded games on the PlayStation Store in its release month. While it didn't compete with blockbuster titles in terms of sales, its performance was notable for a game from a smaller studio. Helldivers managed to strike a chord with a segment of gamers looking for a cooperative experience that was both challenging and different from the norm. Reports indicated that Helldivers had sold hundreds of thousands of copies within the first year, a significant achievement for an indie title. It's crucial to note that these sales were achieved in a market saturated with big-name titles. underscoring the game's appeal to a dedicated segment of the gaming community. Review aggregator Metacritic lists the game with a score in the high 70s to low 80s across various platforms. This game might not have had the flashy accolades of its AAA cousins, but it's a dark horse that packs a punch. It sneaks up on you with its strategic depth, slaps you in the face with its satirical humor, and leaves you pondering the complexities of interstellar democracy. But here's the real kicker. Helldivers isn't just about the here and now. It's a glimpse into the potential future of gaming, where strategy, cooperation, and narrative depth meld together in a glorious, chaotic fusion. It's a reminder that sometimes the best gaming experiences come from the most unexpected places. So as we sign off from this deep dive into Helldivers, remember, in a world of predictable shooters and run-of-the-mill action games, there are titles like Helldivers that dare to be different. They remind us that sometimes being just a tad bit unconventional, a little satirical, and a whole lot of challenging can make all the difference. And hey, if you can't handle a bit of friendly fire, maybe stick to a single-player game. If you enjoyed this look into the history of Helldivers, click this video to see more from the Retro Reload. And of course, thanks for watching.